Let's jump into the first topic. Batman Begins. And I was actually going to share 2 sets of photos, but Justin was so kind to provide a conflicting set of photos that showed something a little bit different. But I'm going to start with the ones that do not look as good because I like the controversy on Loki. So, that should be good. So let's start with the controversial ones. So this was shared by a collector on Facebook. This is the Batman Begins figure from Hot Toys that was just released recently. And it looks okay, right? It's not terrible, but it's not maybe as good as some were hoping for, at least in the photos. However, I will share another set of photos, like I mentioned, that Justin shared with me of a photo of a collector with the Batman figure in the box, where it looks a little more matte and less shiny and a little more exciting and good in quality. So, with that said, I actually want to start with Mr. Nick, new first time on the channel, Mr. Nick. What do you think about these Batman photos to start out? Do you think these look promising? Are you a little bit concerned? Because I know you shared some as well, Nick. What are your early thoughts?
Yeah, so I came in thinking with the first photos in mind that it didn't look very good. But now Justin sharing those new ones, dude, it's really hard to tell now because it actually like looks better in these new photos that he just shared. But the main thing I had a problem with was the glossiness. Like in all those photos, it looks super duper glossy, like on level with that Batman Forever almost. Like so it looked a little cheap to me. I think still there are things about it that are still like disappointing, like the cape. Me personally, I think the cape looks pretty bad. Like it looks like really thick for what it is. I think the DX19 had a really nice thin cape, and I don't know why they didn't just use the same material as that one. And then you have like the inaccuracies, like the gloves, like the gauntlets. At least in this picture, it looks like they're not as glossy as maybe they should be. Like they should be darker than the suit. And it's the same cowl they've been doing for a few years now. So I see why people are disappointed. But now it's like a little bit more conflicting having these new photos. Like it looks a little bit better. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Nick, do you think you're going to end up picking this one up?
Probably not. I have the DX19, and I actually prefer that suit over this one.
Me too, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in the minority a little bit on that one, Nick. We're going to ask the other panelists, but because I really like the DX19 suit. I sold it just because I'm waiting to see what InArt does, and I want to see how that shakes out. And if it's not good, I'll just go back and buy the DX19 because it's a really good figure, right? But I like that. I like that Dark Knight Rises suit. I think that's pretty badass. Same with the Dark Knight suit for that matter. Batman Begins is a good suit. It's a good suit. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not my favorite. Not my favorite. But Leal, I know you're gonna get this still, but fill us in, bro. What are your thoughts on these early photos?
You know what? When I saw the earlier photos, I wasn't sweating it at all. And the reason why is because again, it's the same repeated situation that we got with Loki, bro. We always get those angles that they're unsightly, and on top of that, we haven't seen any type of production photos on this piece yet at all. You know what I mean? So we'll always get somebody who actually does this. And again, I'm like, you know what? The only way for me to really, really tell is to have it in hands first. I know where I'm going for with this. And the thing is, I have the best of both worlds. I had the DX19. So I do basically have what I need from that particular figure. But this strictly was for the tumbler for me. You know what I mean? So, and I know what image I'm trying to capture. So I wasn't worried about it at all. I saw some earlier photos even yesterday. Mafia had 2 photos that he brought up, and it looked pretty good, even from that and even from those particular photos. I think, look, it depends on what a person's going for. And on top of that, I understand pretty much the gripes with the cape, but I had already had it in my mind that I was going to get a custom cape anyway. You know what I mean? So I know where to get it from. I'm just going to go that route. If I need to get a custom cowl, Justin, I know basically where I can actually get that from. So I'm not, pretty much upset about it at all. I just can't wait till it comes. It'll be here next Friday, it's coming Friday. So I'll be able to judge it for myself. You know what I mean? That's basically where I'm at. And the reason why I like this suit so much is because it kind of reminds me of the '89 Batman suit when it dropped. So it's sort of like mimics that style, not the same, but sort of like that style. So I'm definitely not upset about it at all. Once it comes, I know I'll be able to do what I need from it or get what I need from it. So, I mean, that's it. You know what I mean? I'm not stressed about it at all, bro. I'm not.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, and like I think we've all done this. We've kind of jumped to conclusions too quickly without seeing video, without seeing, in-hand photos, things like that, more than just one person who has it, right? Because sometimes like it's just maybe the lighting in that person's house, or maybe they took the photos quick or whatever. It just doesn't look super ideal. But then when you look at it in a different situation or context, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I overreacted a little bit, right? And that can happen. But Justin, what are your thoughts, man, on this Batman Begins figure? I know you should be reviewing it probably soon, right?
Yeah, it should be shipping today, I hope. And then who knows? Yeah, it'll arrive this week, I think. But number one, that first picture is real bad. That one, it makes it look really bad. So when I saw that too, I was like, oh no, this is a freaking disaster. And a lot of people said, oh, Hot Toys are like hiding it or like sneaking it out and not doing blogger photos. No, it's a Toy Fair exclusive. So they don't do, for those who don't know, they don't do blogger photos like for Cyborg Spider-Man and for Arena Boba Fett. They don't do blogger photos for Toy Fair exclusives. So we're not going to see any. We're just going to rely on people taking pictures, etc. The cape, real nasty. I agree. It's supposed to be this really dark black velvet. In the movie, what they used for the actual suit was a parachute nylon. It was really thin. It was flocked. So it had that velvety texture. So it needs to be a hell of a lot darker than it is. The reason it's so thick is because it's apparently wired. So it needs to be 2-ply to have the wire running through it. So it needs to be 2 layers of fabric with the wire in the middle. So that's why it looks so awful. I will be replacing it immediately.
Yeah.
I do not like it at all. As for the proportions, though, if you go forward a few pics, Will, the one where he's standing next to DX19 is the one that caught my eye. I think that looks really good. I think that the proportions, he's big and beefy. He's narrowed down at the waist. I thought that was the quarter scale Batman Begins when I first saw that picture. I think the proportions are really good. With a cowl and a cape swap, I reckon this guy's going to look fantastic.
Hell yeah.
As for the glossy suit, here it's very glossy. So I don't know if this is collectors overseas who have it, treating it with something to make sure the suit is protected and therefore it's glossy or not. Yeah. So we will see when Dean gets his. I know Dean's going to rip into it if it's bad. When Dean gets his, when Lael gets his, then we will truly know if it is as nasty as some of these big. It looks greasy. Like you don't want to touch it.
It does look a little like oily or something.
Yeah.
Like that's why I think you see that little bottle in the background there. I think this.
Yeah, that's what I saw too, and I was like, "What is that?"
A little bit of baby oil, a little bit,
exactly. Something going on. But so to follow up on this one with you guys, like Justin, and I can lead into this with you, like with Hot Toys, I feel like we shouldn't have to do that though. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we shouldn't have to be replacing cows and replacing capes. But
I agree.
But at the end of the day, sometimes it's just the reality of the situation. So what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I agree with you. I feel like I have gone on and on about Hot Toys capes. They are consistently pretty terrible. And I don't know why. It's just a piece of fabric. Just pick the right fabric. Like it's not that hard.
They're just like, nah.
If a guy like Jackson can just go out and buy some fabric and cut the thing up and then it's a perfect cape, surely they can do that. Just hire the guy or find out where he's buying the fabric and just do it. Surely they can.
Come on, JC, do some investigative discovery.
Come on, JC. But the cowl is truly a disaster. I don't know why they didn't update that. They went to all this effort of giving him a brand new body, a brand new suit. They probably had to resize the belt, use the one from the DX19. They went to all this effort of updating all this other stuff, and then it's like that last 20%. You really didn't want to just get it over the line? New cowl? It can't have been that difficult. Even shrink down the quarter scale one. That mold was fantastic. They could have shrunk down the quarter scale one, popped it on there. He comes with a new Bruce Wayne head, but that cowl, travesty, absolute travesty. If you ask me.
Yeah. What do you think, Leo? Are you okay with the idea of getting a Hot Toy and then replacing certain parts like a cow?
I mean, at the end of the day, no. I mean, pretty much there's no excuse for, just mediocre product, and them just, kind of, trying to slide it in as if we wouldn't know. There's definitely no excuse, especially if you're repurposing this figure, if you're putting it out there and you want, people to kind of latch onto it as a Toy Fair exclusive reissue or whatever you want to call it. We shouldn't have to, because if you think about it, you're paying already almost $300 for the figure. And then from certain companies, depending on where you go, if you actually want to get a custom cape and a custom cowl, head sculpt, whatever, you're paying like almost a damn near another 300 or 400. You know what I mean? Just depending. So who wants to do that? Like, just to improve something that should have been improved first go. And I'm pretty sure that they hear us having these conversations. You know what I mean? Why they aren't trying to improve these things. It is what it is. Even with the DX19, as beautiful as that figure is, like, they could have even done that cape sort of better than what they did. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, I mean, I know what I'm going for. And again, if I have to get the custom cape and the custom head sculpt, Justin, then I'm cool with that.
Justin's gonna make you one, yeah.
Yeah, no.
But I get where you're coming from, Leo. You guys are right. For the right character, like I said, I think a lot of people would be willing to do that. Like, update it, go the custom route, just get something that takes that figure to the next level. But I think you guys are right on a good point there about with all the time they had for this, maybe it should have been a little more, like Justin said, that extra little 10 to 20% that they could have put into this. But they're clearly overwhelmed. They're clearly spread too thin. I mean, that's very obvious. They're trying to do way too many characters. Like it's a lot, and hopefully maybe streaming will calm down a little bit, and the Hot Toys can like reel it in a little bit, because Disney, I've heard there's Marvel plans where they're going to kind of reevaluate the streaming thing a little bit, so we'll see. But as for now, pretty interesting. But Nick, just to round this one out, is this something, I know you're not getting this figure, but for your DX19, did you ever consider like upgrading the cape or anything like that, like custom wise?
I'm very back and forth about the cape, because I know, like Justin said, it should be like that velvety material.
Yeah.
And like, it is something I've thought about, but also at the same time, now that I know InArt's going to make one, that's why, like, now I'm like teetering. I'm like, maybe I just wait for InArt and see how they do. Or if not, maybe eventually I will. But I do agree with what Leo said, that it really is something, like, custom wise, like, it's something you want to do for a character that means a lot to you. Like,
right.
For instance, like Peacemaker, I really want a Peacemaker, but like that first look at him, like, I like Peacemaker, but dude, I wasn't gonna buy that. Like, there's just too much I would have to change to that.
Yeah. You're not buying Star Ace,
You're
not buying Star
yeah,
Ace
exactly.
Peacemaker.
Like, I wouldn't, exactly. Like, I wouldn't buy something like that is like, like how you and Carlos talk about now, the tier collecting. Like, if it's like a tier 3 character, I'm not gonna like customize a tier 3 character. That's something like you do for tier 1, something like that.
Right.
So I don't agree with having to do custom, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's something you got to do,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.